Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am the logical leftist, Jeff Waldorf, and we've got a fantastic show for you today. Oh boy, we got Maga melting down over Amy Coney Barrett for helping to derail Donald Trump in his agenda. Interesting at U.S. aid. Then we have the massive Doge salaries. So, wait a minute. I thought Doge was filled with patriots that were going to try to save America and save the taxpayer money. That turns out, no, no. I've got the details on that thanks to Wired. Yeah, fundamental grift. We have Donald Trump's booze, the tariffs that are affecting alcohol sales in Canada. We've got rage over that. It's great. We have a woman who harassed a waiter at a Mexican restaurant, getting what she deserves. A little bit of karma for you. And then finally, we have Republicans that are getting a little embarrassed over one of Pete Hegseth's Defense Department picks. Turns out there's a little bit of anti-Semitism and some other questionably bad comments. So yikes. Okay, so it's going to be a lot of fun talking about these stories. So before I do, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. Helps me out greatly. Certainly need all your help. Patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Go there, help out, sign up, get the podcast version of the show over at our Patreon page. It's audio. You can download it. You can do whatever. Hey, yeah, have fun with it. Have fun with it. But it goes to help the show or sign up to be a channel member on YouTube. With that said, let's dive into the first story here. That is Amy Coney Barrett. Oop. I'm pressing buttons here. I'm pressing buttons. Too many buttons. I have like a lot of buttons in front of me right now. So yeah. You know what?
We'll do it live.
There you go. It's been months since I've seen a live show. Glad to catch it. Well, that's because for a long time there wasn't a live show. But now we're back. Now we're back. Now we're live. So there you go. All right. Let's do it. Supporters of President Donald Trump lashed out at Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett on Wednesday after her and Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts sided with the three liberal justices on the bench to stop Donald Trump's withholding of billions of dollars worth of foreign aid. The Trump administration had thought to renege on about $2 billion in payments owed under existing U.S. aid contracts. Now that is for work that has already been done, okay, and approved by Congress. Obviously, they approved the funding, and then they actually went out and they did the work. Now they're expecting the money, and Trump's like, "You're not going to get the money. You're not going to get it. I'm going to keep the money. I'm going to keep it." Oh, great. Do these people not understand how contracts work? Aren't these the same kind of people that would scream at, college kids that have student loan debt? Pay your bills. You got to pay what you owe. You take out that loan or you sign that contract and you got to pay it. Now, these same people are like, contract? What? No, don't care about the contract. Don't care. Of course. It's kind of ironic, too, because Donald Trump is infamous for not paying his bills. So, I mean, this holding this money up, it's pretty on brand. Okay, pretty on brand for Donald Trump. So now the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision ruled that Trump has to comply with a lower court order from District Judge Amir Ali and release that money. Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh were the four who dissented on Wednesday. In fact, Alito raged at the lower court, saying, "Does a single district court judge who likely lacks jurisdiction have the unchecked power to compel the government of the United States to pay out and probably lose forever $2 billion taxpayer dollars?" The answer to that question should be an emphatic no, but a majority of this court apparently thinks otherwise. I am stunned. I want to talk about jurisdiction, right? You want to talk about jurisdiction, separation of powers. The Trump administration has been ignoring separation of powers and just unilaterally doing things without prior authorization from Congress. Again, this is money that Congress had appropriated towards an agency that was created under the purview of Congress. Of course, right? Now, the other thing is funny. Losing the money forever. Okay, that's what he said. Oh, that $2 billion, it is lost forever. What are you talking about? That, first of all, again, that's money that's already, been appropriated. Okay, and the work was already done. So these contractors are owed that money. And that money also generated economic activity. At the very least, in the form of the paychecks for the workers, for the staff, who then spend that money on on businesses which support jobs. That money does not just disappear. In fact, the only time that money really seems to disappear is when it gets locked up on some rich guy's vault. Okay, some asshole's savings account. Billionaires do not spend money because they don't need to. They don't need to spend all that money. They can't spend all that money in one lifetime. So it just sits there. It sits there out of circulation. The guy is a judge and does not understand the velocity of money, which seems like a pretty basic principle to me. So I don't quite understand, how that works. But okay, anyway, the Supreme Court did not say when the funds must be released with the original February 26th deadline now passed, and instead instructed all to clarify what obligations the government must fulfill to ensure compliance with the temporary restraining order, with due regard for the feasibility of any compliance timelines. Judge Ali's temporary restraining order currently lasts through March 10th. Now, that, of course, has caused a bit of a Maga meltdown. Right-wing influencer Paul A. Cispulna labeled Coney Barrett disgraceful and added that she is, quote, a bad SCOTUS nominee. Bit late on that one. Charlie Kirk then chimed in saying, looking that way. Eric Daugherty called Barrett a quote-unquote big problem. And then Mike Cernovich and Jack Posobiec went further, calling Barrett a DEI hire. She is evil, chosen solely because she checked identity politics boxes. Cernovich wrote, another DEI hire. It always ends badly. Wait, oh, hold on. This really does tell you, it's I don't know if it's a mask off moment because the mask's been off for a while, but in case you didn't notice it, they do believe that any woman in any position of power is nothing more than a DEI hire. Okay, that's what they think about women in the workforce. Now, look, I disagree with Amy Coney Barrett on a ton of things. All right, she is a deeply conservative. She's made a lot of decisions that I think were absolutely abhorrent, that were terrible. Her decision on Roe, for example. Her decisions against environmental regulations, voting in favor of so-called religious freedom, which really isn't religious freedom. It's just freedom for Christianity to rule all over us, right? And so, that said, when it comes to qualifications, the American Bar Association did say that she was well qualified for the Supreme Court role, which is its highest rating. So I guess when it comes to her qualifications to actually sit on the bench, she's pretty qualified. All right, well, there you go. Now, the American Bar Association does confine its evaluation to the qualities of integrity, professional competence, and judicial temperament. So I disagree with her on her rulings, but I can't say that this person is 100% unqualified, okay? Whereas you've got Maga that is saying, oh, no, she's absolutely unqualified. She's a DEI hire. The only reason they hired her is because she's a woman. Wow. And they're also saying, by the way, hey, woman, you have forgotten your place. You know what your place is? To serve Donald Trump. That's it. Donald Trump gave you that job. You know, he selected you, okay? And so how dare you go up against him? How dare you? That's not how it's supposed to work. And by the way, you know, look, she has given the conservative movement a lot of wins already, okay? But it doesn't matter to them. If you step out of line, even once with these people, they're going to come for you. Because they always do. All right. I wouldn't go so far as to saying that she's got a conscience, but perhaps this was one of those things where it's like, it's kind of hard to argue against. Well, money's already spent, work's already done. I mean, yeah, we kind of owe him that money. Well, that's it. I mean, it's really hard to argue against that. Okay. Yeah, we already spent the money. We already did the work. Of course, they have to get paid, but Donald Trump is the, grifter in chief. So it's one of those people is like, oh, I don't care if the work's already done. I don't like it. I'm not going to pay you. Ridiculous. All right, moving on. Let's go to Doge. Little bit of sissy SpaceX here. It appears that Elon Musk's claims that Doge is filled with nothing more than, patriots that are working to save this country for free. Turns out that's a lie. A new investigation has revealed that several Doge employees are actually drawing six-figure salaries funded by the taxpayer. How ironic. The department of trying to save taxpayer money is actually costing taxpayer money. How and how much? According to Wired, it's been doing some great reporting on Doge, okay? Breaks it all down. Now, they report that key figures within the non-agency agency are being paid through the General Services Administration. How much? Jeremy Lewin, tasked with dismantling U.S. aid, is earning over $167,000 annually. Kyle Schutt, a software engineer embedded at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, is making $195,200. The maximum salary allowed for a federal employee. Nate Kavanaugh, the 28-year-old tech entrepreneur, playing a leading role in Doge's GSA restructuring, is earning $120,500. Now, the investigation also found that Doge's budget has ballooned to $40 million, and its recruitment page now openly discusses full-time salaried positions for engineers and other specialists. I thought the whole point was to save money. Doesn't seem like you're saving that much money. And yeah, don't point at they got a wall of receipts. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is very untrustworthy. It's for contracts. A lot of it is contracts that have already been done. You can't save money on a contract that's already been done and paid for. Okay, it's ridiculous. So, Now, that, of course, stands in direct contrast to Musk's previous statements about Doge, people getting paid. Last November, as he and Vivek Ramaswamy had recruited for Doge, Musk insisted that working for the agency would be both tedious and wouldn't pay. They would be compensated at $0. Well, it turns out I guess when it comes to him paying out money, of course he's paying out nothing. Okay, he's not the one paying them, it's you and I. Okay, it's the taxpayer. Now, that said, the other thing is maybe they saw this and were like, not exactly chomping at the bit here to, work for free. And so he had to sweeten the pot, perhaps with some taxpayer money. Okay, now that said, is this even legal? I mean, this is not a government agency. So this is an advisory committee. So doesn't Congress have to say something about this? Don't they have to approve funding for this non-agency agency? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Now, maybe they would technically be a contractor through the GSA. They have control over the GSA, so that's probably how this funding got approved. Pretty shady stuff. Okay, this feels like a bit of a robbery that is happening right now. Now, Don Moynihan, public policy professor at the University of Michigan, told Wired, quote, "It does seem worth understanding what these employees are being paid, especially if they're being paid significantly more than technologists who have been fired, given that many of the Doge staff have less relevant experience." Wait a minute here. So they're getting paid more. They have less experience. I thought Musk was worried about merit. Hiring the best people for the job. I don't know. Looking at some of these people, like big balls, I don't think they're the best person for the job. That is, unless the job is actually just to break stuff. And they have been breaking stuff. And they've been doing a pretty good job at breaking stuff. Look, this is not about saving money. Doge has never been about saving money for the taxpayer. It's about ripping the government apart. It's about getting rid of agencies that were investigating Elon Musk, crypto bros, and doing things that Trump and Maga are ideologically opposed to. Okay, that's the agencies that are getting shut down and staff being fired. Okay, feeding kids overseas is one example. But of course, and of course, they're really going after feeding children here as well. So, hey, but that said, Musk did tell Joe Rogan that having empathy is actually a weakness.
Fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The empathy exploit. They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response. So, and I think empathy is good, but you need to think it through and not just be programmed like a robot.
Empathy being a weakness. He said that empathy is being weaponized. Ah, right. Sure. Okay. Yes, caring about people is somehow bad now, according to Musk. You know who said that? Nazis. Okay, that's Nazis thing. Okay. Thomas Childers wrote in Third Reich, A History of Nazi Germany, that the ultimate goal of the intense indoctrination that Germans had went through was to condition them to think racially, to view the world through a biological lens, and to infuse German society with a new racial ethos. Germans were constantly reminded that they were no longer merely Germans, but they were Aryans, and their first duty was to the Volk, or civilization. Defined in racial terms, doctors, too, needed to adjust their priorities. They were no longer tending to the individual, but to the society at large. There was no higher moral obligation in this new biological society There can be no outmoded empathy for the weak or for the racially inferior. Feelings of false humanity, exaggerated pity, and brotherly love were no longer operable values. With stunning callousness, the Nazis produced photographs of desperately disabled children, juxtaposed with rosy-cheeked, healthy children, accompanied by charts purported to document the exorbitant costs of maintaining the unfit. These illustrated charts appeared in newspapers, journals, and as posters, ostensibly documenting the drain posed by the disabled on the economy and reminding taxpayers that they were footing the bill for this false quote-unquote humanitarianism, and that in a stressful time of economic recovery, as one poster stated, the genetically ill damaged the community, the healthy preserve the Volk. Does that sound familiar? I mean, just recently, Alina Habba got into hot water by talking about how, these veterans, they might not be fit for these jobs. For government jobs. How about the attacks on DEI? The attacks on disabled? The attacks on elderly people? In the promotion of so-called merit. No, this guy is parroting Nazi ideology. When you look at everything that Musk is doing and the things that he says, you look at that under this lens, it makes a lot more sense to what he's doing. Okay? Firing government workers, replacing them with his own loyalists, his own staff, cutting agencies that help the poor and the disabled, especially in other countries, right? While couching all of this in the language of fighting against waste, fraud, and abuse. Without actually, of course, touching waste, fraud, and abuse. If they actually cared about that, they might look at the $38 billion in federal funding that went to Musk's companies. Yeah. Look, Doge is not about saving money. It's about culling the undesirables through the destruction of programs that were designed to help the poor, to help the needy, while benefiting the richest people imaginable. That's who it is. It's who he is, and that's what he's doing. So, yikes. All right. F this administration resists says in a super chat, Elon needs to be in prison. I'd be happy sending him back to South Africa. Okay. As long as he's nowhere near our government. But thank you for that super chat. F this administration resists. Appreciate that. All right. Let's move on. One of America's most well-known liquor brands is feeling the squeeze from President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada. On Tuesday, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario said that in response to Trump's tariffs, they are pulling American-made spirits off the shelves. As part of Ontario's response to strategy to U.S. tariffs, the government of Ontario has directed LCBO to take operational steps to implement restrictions on all U.S. beverage alcohol sales and related imports into Ontario, effective immediately, the Liquor Board said in a statement on Tuesday. Our in-store teams can help customers find alternative products from our extensive selection of products from Ontario, Canada, and around the world. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who separately ordered the LCBO, one of the largest alcohol purchasers in the world, to stop selling American liquor, told reporters Tuesday that he knows it will hit American businesses' bottom line. Ford said the LCBO sells nearly $1 billion of U.S. alcohol per year. As of today, every single one of these products is off the shelves. They only have President Trump to blame We have no choice. We have to respond. Manitoba Premier Wab Canoe also posted a video about this. Let's take a look at that.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the liquor mart shelves.
You know, it is amazing that Donald Trump has successfully pissed off Canada. How much of an asshole do you have to be to piss off Canada? They're some of the nicest people I know, Canadians. And Donald Trump has managed to turn them against us. I mean, way to go, dummy. Wow. Wow. Oh, this is great. It's really making America great again. Come on. Ontario shares a border with Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And so any brewers here, you're SOL. Okay. Now, this is going to impact a lot of brands. And of course, people are not happy about it. In fact, Eric Gregory, president of the Kentucky Distillers Association, said the new tariffs will have far-reaching consequences beyond Ontario's decision to pull American liquor. Kentucky produces about 95% of the world's bourbon and 100% of the world's Mitch McConnell. Which, you know, they really should apologize for that one. Okay. Just saying. That means, Gregory said in a statement, that hardworking Americans, corn farmers, truckers, distillery workers, barrel makers, bartenders, servers, and the communities and businesses built around Kentucky bourbon will suffer. Retaliatory measures against bourbon harm these markets and jeopardize growth for years to come, including the unjust and disproportionate removal of American spirits from retail shelves and prohibition on the new purchases of alcohol from American companies. Okay, so I love how he's like, these are unjust and disproportionate. Well, so were the tariffs against Canada that Trump put in place. For what reason do we have to put tariffs on Canada? With the fentanyl? No, less than 1% of fentanyl goes through the border, comes from Canada. Okay? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, these tariffs, all right? No, you want to blame somebody, blame the president of the United States for being an idiot. Now, Jack Daniels maker Brown-Forman, headed up by Lawson Whiting, also said the Canadian response was disproportionate. I mean, that's worse than a tariff. Because it's literally taking your sales away, completely removing our products from the shelves. But you know what? Tough shit. You supported this. You voted for this. Now, you got the consequences. And by the way, Jack Daniels, okay, this company was ahead of the curve in killing DEI. Okay, in August of 2024, they announced that they would be ending several DEI programs. So do I feel for them? No, I don't. You get what you vote for. All right? That's it. I mean, when it comes down to it, there's a trade war between the US and Canada. I am proudly on the side of Canada. Yeah, here's the entirety of the sympathy I have for the state that kept voting for Moscow Mitch and Traitor Trump. Exactly. You punched us, we're punching back, says Canada. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's only fair. It's only fair. All right. Oh boy. You're gonna love this story. A woman who harassed a waiter at a Mexican restaurant got a bit of karma. On March 2nd, Stephanie Lovins was dining at Cazela's Mexican Cantina in Columbus, Ohio. Apparently, she was not Lovins it, okay, and decided to leave a rather awful message for her waiter, Ricardo. Well, let's take a look. Oh, wow. Big bill. 0 for the tip. You suck. And then, I hope Trump deports you. Oof. So what happened? Was this terrible service? Did Ricardo actually suck? Well, it turns out that Lovins got upset because the restaurant only had a 1 coupon per table policy. Oh, so she couldn't use more than 1 coupon at a time. Right. Now, Ricardo, who happens to be a U.S. citizen and probably a really good server, does not set policy for the restaurant. I don't know if she was aware of that, but the waiters, the wait staff does not set company policy. Now, an employee had found the receipt and decided to share it on social media, where it quickly went viral, provoking widespread condemnation and calls for Lovin's termination. Fabio Orbo, head of marketing at Cazela's, told NBC4, quote, "It's just not right. Just not right." I agree with that. Look, this is ultimate Karen behavior, okay? But it actually gets worse than that. See, after this went viral, Lovins, she was getting some pushback. And she's like, what do I do? What do I do? Maybe I could apologize? No, I'm going to lie about it. She went on social media and claimed that her credit card had been lost or stolen and that someone else had tried to use it. "Thanks for the notifications," she wrote on Facebook. "This has been reported through my bank. Thank you for all the recent notifications of scammers and profile hackers. I recently discovered a lost/missing credit card and an attempted use/purchase. I appreciate your patience while I manage the situation," she wrote on LinkedIn. Bullshit. This was discovered, of course, to be a false statement. How? How did they catch her? CCTV camera footage, which confirmed that she was inside the restaurant. I love this so much. I mean, okay, you go to a Mexican restaurant, you know, you're racist, right? And you go to a Mexican restaurant and you try to, you know, get your way in paying less for a meal. And they're like, no, I can't. I mean, there's 1 coupon per table, okay? That's our policy. I don't set it. I can't do anything about it. Doesn't matter. She harassed the poor guy, doesn't give him a tip, and says, "I hope Donald Trump deports you." Yeah, I think we all know who she voted for. Okay?
The Republican Party's racist.
But again, the cherry on top is she lied about it. "Oh, I was hacked," or "my credit card was stolen." Ah, right. Sure. The result of this, of course, is some FAFO, all right? A spokesperson for Century 21, her employer, addressed the incident, stating that, hey, hate has no place within our brand. After investigating the situation and connecting with the respective broker, as all companies affiliated with the Century 21st brand are independently owned and operated, we can confirm that this agent is no longer affiliated with the brand.
You're fired.
Fired! Fired!
Hey, you know what? You want to play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. That's what this is. Be a racist Karen, and well, it's going to come back to bite you. Now, look, that's all well and good and fun, right? I do hope, though, that Miss Lovins takes this situation and perhaps learns something from it. Says, oh, wow, maybe, gee, this is why what I did was wrong. Maybe gains some new understanding. Maybe comes out a better person from this learning experience. However, I kind of doubt it. I think it's more likely that she'll end up getting a position in Donald Trump's White House or something than actually learn something from this experience. But then again, there's always a little bit of hope, even if it is small. Oh, yeah. Treat everyone with respect and pass it forward. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Last story. So I'm just like, I'm sorry. I blew through these today. But I've got a lot of stuff I have to do when I get off the air. I got some tweaking of my channel to do. So I'm going to work on that. But we've got one more story, so buckle up. Trump will call her a hero. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay. It appears that Defense Department Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson is in a bit of hot water.
Oh, no!
Turns out that this woman has a very long history of making some anti-Semitic and white supremacist posts on social media, and those posts have been discovered. The 26-year-old Maga supporter, whose father happens to be longtime Trump advisor and right-wing commentator Steve Cortez, joined the Pentagon's press office back in January. A review of her social media activity by Mother Jones has revealed a long history of bigoted, xenophobic, and deliberately provocative posts. Now, I'm sure later on she'll probably claim, well, I was just trolling. I didn't actually mean anything. I'm just trolling. I'm trolling. Sure. Now, what kind of provocative posts? Well, there's a lot of stuff about the Great Replacement theory, which is this conspiracy theory that's anti-Semitic, claiming that it's the Jews. You see, the Jews are trying to replace white Americans with non-white immigrants so that we can take over the country. Wait, what? What are you talking about? What? That's insane. That's insane, and also kind of stupid, especially if they had
Jewish space lasers.
Why not use those if those were real? Why not use the space lasers? Okay, it doesn't make any sense. But all right, there's more. She's also peddled an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Sorry about Leo Frank, who was a Jewish businessman who was wrongly convicted and hanged for the murder of a 13-year-old Georgia girl in 1951. So, digging right back into that history and taking out and having probably some of the worst takes you could imagine. Like, for example, saying that Confederate General Robert E. Lee was, quote, one of the greatest Americans to ever live. Also, she suggested that women shouldn't be allowed to be police officers for some reason. And that's just a little sample of some of the horror stuff that this lady believes in and that she openly posts on social media. Wow, great. Now, you would wonder, did the administration do any sort of vetting? Did they look into the history, some of the stuff they post to make sure that this person would be a good spokesperson? You know, did they? Did they? Well, the answer, of course, is no. No, of course not. And one of the reasons, by the way, is actually nepotism. Now, I just mentioned that, you know, she's the daughter of Steve Cortez. Okay, so that guy's high up in Maga, and so she gets the job not by merit, but through her connections. Not only that, but she is a former aide to Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought. And so, you know, yeah, she's got the hookup. And so she gets this job, not because of her merit, but because of who she knows and who her father is. Interesting. And by the way, she also was put into that position, not despite her beliefs, but because of them. This is MAGA. It's racism, xenophobia, it's anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. This is who they are. This is who they are. Now, that said, these posts were very embarrassing. Okay? It's so embarrassing that you had Republicans that, it's a little uncomfortable. Oh, crap. She's got some really racist stuff there. In fact, Senator Lindsey Graham immediately, okay, and you're gonna love this, right? Because Lindsey Graham starts out by saying, "Oh, this person not at all connected with Donald Trump. Doesn't believe the same things." Okay, completely off script with Trump. Okay, Trump's not the racist. She is. She's totally the racist, but Donald Trump's not. Okay.
The Republican Party's racist.
Yeah. Right from his own words. Okay. Now, he also said, "I'm not going to tell them who to hire, but I do know that Trump doesn't believe any of the things she's talking about." Really, Donald Trump believes in pretty much every kooky conspiracy theory and racial stereotype imaginable. But he doesn't believe any of this stuff? Come on. But he said, "I'll leave it up to them to determine if they think that she's the right spokesperson." Weak sauce. Total weak sauce. Come on. But what do you expect from Lindsey Graham? Okay. Lindsey Graham has made Donald Trump basically his daddy. All right. Now, sometimes he'll slightly disagree with Trump, but at the end of the day, it means nothing. It just means nothing. Now, Senator Deb Fischer of Nebraska was a little stronger, but not by much. She told the outlet that the Wilsons' remarks were horrible and just not appropriate. Sometimes people think they're anonymous when they're on social media, that they can comment or post on whatever may be their attitude at the time. So you're saying racism is the attitude at the time, and then they later regret it. Well, where's the regret? Has she expressed any sort of regret for her views? No, of course not. There's no regret there. None at all. And I love how the statement kind of says, like, well, I mean, you know, if you just stayed anonymous at the time, and make sure that you're anonymous at the time that you're writing these racist screeds, then, you know, you won't get caught and you won't have to feel bad about it later. Basically, don't be racist on Maine. Because it's kind of embarrassing. Makes us look bad. Of course. Of course. Now, a person close to the Trump administration said, quote, "The fact she didn't even try to delete the last tweets tells you all you need to know." Getting back to the point of there is no regret there. "I don't know who's doing vetting, but it's bad vetting, and shows that Hegseth is not making personnel decisions, nor spending time on them." Hegseth, under the bus. Under the bus. And the people that are supposed to do the... Look, they're not doing vetting. Of course not. Of course they're not doing vetting. Why would they? This is like Nepo stuff, right? That's really all it is. And as far as the racism goes, It's not the bug, it's the feature. All right. We had people openly doing Nazi salutes at the RNC. We had Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute during Trump's inauguration. Do you think this is an accident? No, it's not. This is who they are. This is who they are, and they're pretty open about it. Look, I would be shocked if Kingsley was fired or disciplined in any way. I would be, and for obvious reasons, right? Now that said, if she does, it's not because of what she believes. It is because she has embarrassed them. And that is one of the worst crimes that you could commit, aside from, I guess, stealing from from MAGA. Not the MAGA voters, by the way, but from like Trump and other high profile people. Okay. It's one of the biggest crimes in the MAGA sphere. Yep. Followed by shortly by Steve Bannon. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, damn, I am out of stories already. But I want to thank some members. Xenodemon666. Hold on. Where is it? Where?
It's the devil, okay?
All right. Awesome. So every time I see you, I'm going to think.
It's the devil, okay?
Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the membership. Thank you for the gifted membership. Jedi Protector says, can't wait for the bubble to pop around the administration. I mean, I don't know if it'll matter, but yes, would be great. And Progressive Boomer says, a live show to share a milestone. So you're a member for 28 months. Thank you for that. Really appreciate your support. And everyone who supports the show, thank you so much for making this happen, allowing me to continue to talk about this stuff, to go in and really share my passion for the news. So thank you for that. And thank you to the patrons who can listen to this show as a audio podcast. That's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. All right. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very important that you do so. With that said, I'm going to head out for the afternoon. Thanks again for watching. And we will see you back here again tomorrow, right here on Logically Left.